Welcome back to Marriage Hot Takes. Thank you for taking a little time to join us today. I'm your host, Aaron Degler, along with my wife, Kim. We each week just want to share a little bit about our years of being, or 22 years of marriage, some successes, some failures, some lessons we've learned, some things that have worked, haven't worked, and really each time just leave you with a hot take that you can take into your relationship, into your marriage. Really, our goal is to start conversations, questions that we leave you, and thoughts that we can engage with you that just spark that conversation to improve and make better your relationship, your marriages. So, thank you again for joining us today. Today, we're gonna we hear a lot about legacy. About the legacy, I think sometimes when we think of legacy, we think about money, kind of
Right.
dollars.
What are you leaving me
Yeah.
in the will
Yeah, what are we going to get when somebody passes away, and what are we going to get
when your
um,
great uncle Leonard passes away?
that you didn't know, that
No,
what you
yeah,
heard once, that
long
you had
lost.
and we think about that often, and Kim and I have talked about legacy, and we've actually had a marriage group topic that we talked about our legacy, and we really referred to our marriage legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So as we were talking about that, we kind of both uh, brought things from our parents
Mm-hmm.
into our marriage, things as in relationships we saw with our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things we do now are because of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things we do now are because of your parents. And so we thought we'd share a little bit of those and help maybe you think about what kind of legacy do you want, marriage legacy do you want to leave. I think what better gift could we give our kids than to leave them a legacy of like, wow, these are some things I want to incorporate into my marriage because this is what my parents did.
Mm-hmm.
Or
because this is because of what my parents didn't do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And because, I mean, we can take things, there's some good, we both had great parents.
Yes.
But there's still some things that we go, I didn't really care for that.
Yes.
That's not really something I want to bring in. I think we both feel that way.
Right.
But there's a lot of things too that we're like, man, that was really.
Yeah. You're thankful for.
Very thankful.
Yeah. I think that for you and I both, we're both very thankful for long marriages that our parents had. Your parents are still married. My dad has passed away, but they both had long marriages of love.
And my parents have been married for 62 years.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom and dad were married for how long before your dad?
You're asking
away?
Me numbers, so keep talking, and I'll think of a number.
Yeah, I was going to say 40 years, but
no,
wasn't made it right because I was thinking how old your mom was at the time. I thought that's not right.
She could not have done that.
She'd have been
no. She was a young widow.
Yeah.
So I would say 30 plus years.
30 plus years.
Yes. I can't remember exactly. Sorry, Mom.
But 30 plus years. It wasn't 50. We know that. Because she would have been, or 40 because she was
right.
young.
Right.
So, long marriages that we were able to witness, and so maybe what's something that your parents did.
Thanks for making me go first.
You want me to go first?
I don't care. I can go first. You can.
So one of the things my parents
just don't use mine. Go ahead.
I won't.
Okay.
One thing my parents did, as this would almost probably be for family.
Uh-huh.
This was in regards to, because again, I think a legacy marriage is also, how does that affect your family?
Right.
And so one of the things my parents did was, I have two brothers and a sister. And so as we got older, I didn't know as much as the house because I was the youngest. And so by the time I was in junior high, all my siblings were out of the house. So it was like being an only kid with an only child with siblings. It was really great. But anyhow, so I didn't notice it. But as we get older and we got out of the house, my parents would help us, not equally. So in other words, just because they gave one of us money doesn't mean everybody got that. They gave to us based on our needs. And I think that was really important because we didn't ever look at it as, is it fair or not fair? We look. I've looked at it. I don't know how my siblings look at it, but I always looked at it as they were helping by meeting a need I had. And sometimes for a need for us, that was dollars. Sometimes for a need for my sister, it might just be their time. My dad may have to go do something for her or sit with her or something like that. So the needs were kind of different, but they would meet those needs. And I think that's kind of something we've adopted with our kids is just because we do one thing for the other doesn't mean we do the same for all of them. Now we're talking about life. Christmas is different because we got to get it all equal. But in life, when they have needs, we try to meet their need.
Right.
Doesn't. And we have always tried to explain that to them that it looks different for each one of them.
Right.
And sometimes when you're younger, that's a hard thing to understand.
Right.
That because you go, well, you gave them that much or this but it's a need.
Right.
So, and I think that's something we really work on trying to do.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think for stop pointing at me. I think for me, I know. I think for me, I was going more with the direction of which is there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay, thank you. So that was prefaced because you gave the wrong answer. No. So I'm now going to give the right answer of what we're really talking about.
No, I'm just saying. Oh wow, that seems so in detail. Mine was not that. So.
Okay.
I didn't have that many words.
Well, that's okay.
I think for me, like my parents, they were always they loved each other a lot. I mean, every parent does, I'm sure, but they showed that. So like, it wasn't ever a question. Like I never ever thought, I don't know that they like each other. I mean, they did, and like they were very good about expressing their love for each other in front of us.
Because your dad was not afraid of what is that public?
What you are?
Yes.
Public display, PDA.
Yeah, PDA. Your
he
dad
was not afraid of that, and so he made aware that everyone knew that they were together. I mean, he was. We got plenty of pictures of him making sure that that's my wife.
He'd have an arm around. A slap on the rear.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Doesn't matter who was around.
Didn't matter. That was my dad, and my mom was always so giving to him, and we've talked about that many times about, all the things that she did for him. But love was something that was very much expressed in our family as far as, my whole life. If you ever were on the phone, you never hung up from your parents, your sibling, whoever. That was when I used to talk on the phone without saying, I love you. We didn't go to bed or leave the house or anything without kissing goodnight, saying goodnight, saying, I love you, kissing goodbye in the morning. I love you. That was always a multiple time a day to say, I love you. And we have raised our family in that same manner that anytime I talk to the kids, it's always, I love you. Before I hang up, it's,
if they leave the house, they come to visit to hug.
Yes, it is.
Because my parents did the same thing. I'm thinking about it. I mean, I never remember a time that we parted ways or they did without giving a hug and a kiss.
Yes.
I love you.
And so much so that for you and I mean, we could part ways to go to a separate room for something, and we will kiss to say, I love you, just to see each other again in a minute and a half. I mean, so I do feel like that was something that they passed on down to me, was just the expression of love, and that, you're never guaranteed when they walk out the door when you're going to see them again. So it was always be careful, I love you, all of those things. And I got the same genetics, I don't think that's the word, genes or something from my dad, to where I am that same. I always want to
be touching.
Yes, always. Like you're real far away over there.
Yes, like you really like us to be sitting next to each
Yeah, so we could hold hands during the whole time while we talk to y'all and look
Yes.
at you in the eyes. But
and make it awkward.
yes, but you're far away over there, so wah, wah, wah.
See, before we started, she had her hand. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She said, "Well, I thought we'd pray before we started." I said, "Okay."
You
That's
thought
just-
we were going to hold hands the
yeah, I
whole
did.
time this time.
Yeah, I thought
No.
we were gonna.
No, so I do believe that's one of the things that I don't do believe that is one of the things that my parents passed down, a legacy that we continue.
And another thing that my dad did for my mom was he took like he'd do everything, like all kinds of things, like he'd go get her gas.
Like your mom's never gotten gas ever in
No,
her whole life.
I don't think my mom's ever gotten gas in her car.
That wasn't passed down.
No, now you do. I mean, you go get gas.
Yes,
But what
I
I'm
get
saying
gas.
is-
I get my own gas.
But there's other things
Yeah,
I think I'd do for you in that manner.
I agree.
That I mean, I remember growing up, I would be the one that went to the grocery store with my dad. My dad would do the grocery shopping. He would do, as I got older, he would do most of the cooking. I mean, he still worked. It wasn't like he was staying home, but he did a lot for my mom. I never got the impression, or I never thought growing up like, oh, that's a man's job. That's a woman's job. And
Right.
so for us, I never think of, well, that's your job, that's my job.
Yeah.
I just think, just like on the weekends, I mean, sometimes I make the bed because I feel bad. I'm like, well, you make the bed every single day because I get out before you, or if I cook because I think you
and
prep
on
all
the weekend
meals.
you do the majority of the cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, because I think I just grew up seeing that, and I've never really thought we have jobs except for mowing. That's my job.
Well, that's because you took it away from me.
Well, that's because it was costing a fortune to keep fixing mowers because it was an accident. It was an accident.
I didn't mean to run over the trampoline park.
Yeah, I mean, it just happened.
Well, and in the way that is for your family, that was very, very different in my family. There were man and woman jobs.
Like your dad probably never did any laundry or cooking.
I had never in my whole life saw my dad do laundry. I remember one time I was little, I feel like he made bread one time, and I don't know why that sticks out in my mind, but I do feel like he made bread once, and I think that was the only time I saw him in the kitchen. But I mean, there was those are my mom's jobs, and the outside jobs were all of our jobs. So it was mom's job outside too. No.
And so that's like a thing though that I brought from my parents into our marriage, but you're okay with that because, I mean, you didn't say, oh no, this is your job.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
and so it's not like I came into that saying, well, you need to have all the manly jobs besides mowing. Right. You need to have all the manly jobs because obviously, I mean,
you'd have to find a different man because I don't do some of that stuff.
I have to do the manly jobs, most of them, except for mowing.
Yeah. I mean, your dad taught you well.
Yeah. Yeah. He wanted me to be independent. So,
and that's one of, I think, the things we tried to do with our girls.
Yeah.
Is I wouldn't go do stuff for them. Like even going to get your oil changed.
Yes.
I said, you need to go do it.
Yeah. You need to learn to pull up into the thing. And I don't know how to do that.
But you haven't ever done that.
I haven't ever done that.
Yeah.
But I will say I was taught to change oil.
Yes.
So I might not can pull up into the bay, but I mean, if I had, worst came to worst, I could try to figure it out.
You could change some oil.
I could if I had the right tools.
Yeah. It's just the tools that will be holding
Yes. That's the only thing that's saving us the money is from getting oil changes is that.
The tools.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think that is a good balance of what you brought, what I brought. Yeah. And you're thankful that I'm a worker. Yes, you are thankful that Jerry Walker raised.
Oh, I am. Yeah, because that's some stuff
I am thankful that Larry Degler taught you how to grocery shop and cook and do things around the house. So what a good balance that is.
I mean, now one time we got a new washer and I had to ask you how to do it. But it was because
you still.
But I don't do a lot of laundry.
You don't. No, I don't want you in there. So yeah, that's okay. I don't need you in there messing with the washer. I
might have done laundry about a year ago when you went on a trip, but that's probably the last time.
I don't think you've used this washer at all.
Probably not.
And we've had it it'll be 2 years in November.
Oh, yeah, so I have not.
You've not. And the other one we had for a good 4 years before you said, how do I open the door?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it was a total dude moment.
it
Like,
was.
I felt like, oh man, this is,
Yeah. Yeah.
not knowing how to,
Yeah. But
do
you
something.
do other things.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
like I said, you do the majority of the cooking, and I am thankful for it, because as much as my mom was a woman in the house place, how you say that, but
the house is a woman's place.
yeah, and how she cooked all the meals, and
Took care of everything inside.
I do take care of everything
Yeah.
inside, but I do not, and I do not cook. I do not enjoy. I say I don't cook. I do our meal prep food.
Yes.
But if you're looking to have a dinner,
And so I think as we're talking, we're talking about some actions that maybe they did for the family or for each other. But what about the legacy of a marriage when it comes to how you treat each other? Um, I think I kind of thinking of that, of my dad doing stuff for my mom like that. That was, I think, his way of showing that he loved her,
right?
that he wanted to take care of her. And so for me, and I think of it that way, is like I do some of those things because I want to do something for you. I want to take care of you. I want you to be able to rest and not have to think, oh, I have to make the bed. I mean, because you do it every morning. And I thought, well, if I can take a little bit of that from you, like, oh, and it tugs, it's like nothing, but it's because also I want to take care of you. Because I love you. And as we've talked about, the things you do, you take actions to show some love. And hopefully that through those, we also are an example to our kids that are grown and married, the way we treat each other. And two, I don't really ever remember, I don't remember my parents getting into big arguments.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
no,
I don't think I really remember that.
We every once in a while would have, we would call it Jerry Walker rule number 3,586, where someday he might just, we don't need to fold clothes on the couch anymore. It needs to be in a different place. And that might spark an argument, but I don't remember hearing like an argument. I just remember later mom saying, well, Jerry Walker rule number we now have, so we can't do that anymore. But I don't ever remember hearing them fight. So we neither were raised in that kind of what environment.
And I think too, because of course we weren't around our whole parents' marriages because we weren't born. But as I hear my parents talk, I know. I don't know why this word just came to me. I was thinking my dad was a rascal when he was young. I don't know why that word came.
Rascal.
A rascal.
He was a rascal.
But she was still patient.
Yeah.
My mom is actually the one that got my dad saved with him, and was just kind of it. I never ever remember thinking my parents like they were married.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, I think, the biggest thing is like we're married. And there's not other options,
right?
Through thick and thin, good and bad, all of those, we're going to work through those things, and get through them. And for them, divorcing wasn't ever an option.
Right.
It was, if there's hard times, there's conflict, we're going to work through it. How do we do that? And they communicated.
Yeah, that's good.
I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I would say,
yeah, it was the same.
Your parents were the same way.
Yeah.
They were going to work through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a big example
to us.
To us.
Yeah.
To see our parents, the length of their marriage, and it wasn't easy marriages. It's not like,
no, I mean, it wasn't like it was rainbows and lollipops all the time, for sure. I mean, there were struggles and, different things. My mom stayed at home. So, it was a one income family, and, it was hard, but my dad wanted my mom to be at home raising us and, not miss all the things. And so there were sacrifices to be made, which again, there's another example to us. Now, I did work when the kids were young, but I did always say I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, just like my mom was, but just didn't get to do it while they were at home. I did it once they were
when they're in high school.
Yeah. Well, when the girls were in high school.
Yeah, when the girls were in high school. Yeah.
So, but that was something that I was raised around and was normal to me.
Mm-hmm. And yet for me, my mom
Worked.
My, you know, and too, I remember when we talk about legacy too. I remember my dad went back to college, back to school when I was in junior high. He finished college, got his master's degree, and during that time, my mom went back to get her master's degree. And I always remember just both of them encouraging each other, doing what they can to help the other one be successful, whatever that was needed. Going to school, taking up the slack, all those things. And so, and I think, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
When I went back to school, you helped me at a time when I wasn't working as much, but when you were had your shop here, you were working, till 7 o'clock at night, and I would give kids baths and get supper ready, and to help each other be successful. And I think those are legacies that. And what is a legacy? It's really just being an example.
Yes.
Because we'll leave a legacy.
Yes. It just depends on, is it going to be a good legacy or a bad legacy? Are you going to, or are your kids going to want to craft some of the things that you have done throughout their growing up and what they see into something that you had? Or are they going to be like, that is completely not what I want? So I think that that's something that you work towards, and yes, I mean, there are times that huge failures, especially when the kids were young. I think we failed many times, but as a whole, I think that the legacy would be just like what we say, be a loving home and help each other out and being encouraging to each other. And those are all the things that we saw growing up. And we are blessed that we didn't see other sides, that wasn't part of our life growing up.
And so the challenge would be that if maybe you or your spouse didn't see those types of environments like we did, then maybe you're really intentional about, and you don't want to create that again. And then you're really intentional about the way you act towards each other, you talk to each other, that you start to change the cycle.
Yeah.
Because it can be sick. It can be a cycle from
break
generation.
The cycle.
Yeah, from generation to generation that doesn't stop. So if you can break it, it's about being intentional to break it, and that can be challenging because those are ingrained young.
They are, and if you like for instance, you and I both talked about, just for the example of just leaving the house and always saying goodbye and kissing and hugging and I love you, all of those things. But so many people don't grow up in that environment, and they don't even, that's not normal to them. Then they, which I'm not saying it has to be, but then they raise their kids, and then, it just keeps continuing of being like, oh, I don't know, that's weird, But just like in other cultures, how we look at that when like families kiss each other on the mouth and you go, oh, what was that? Well, it's just different than your family, So I think it's up to how you were raised.
And I think there's sometimes that our kids might see something we do and like, but then they see something their grandparents are like, we're not doing that. There's sometimes as they get older, they act certain ways. And so, but then again, I think it's good for our kids. We go, okay, I maybe see something I like what my mom and dad do, but then my grandparents, I don't like the way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we have to be a little subtle reminder to our kids that there is a generational gap there. So when they're seeing the grandparents, for instance, your parents that are an older generation,
in their mid-80s,
yes, that have been married 60 plus years, life looked different for them, and society and norms were different for them than what they are today. Just like I told you, we've discussed before, my mom waited on my dad hand and foot, and I would always be like, I'm not going to do that, but then I do. But that was kind of the norm, to kind of cater to your husband, your spouse, then. And for the man to kind of be in charge. And sometimes with our kids, I think they have a hard time seeing sometimes how that kind of plays out in an older marriage, just because that's not how society is the norm today. Yeah.
But then again, they're being more intentional.
Yes.
To make sure that they are
that I'm not going to do that.
Not going to do that.
Right.
So I mean, I think it's because we'll leave a legacy. And it's just be intentional about the legacy you want to leave,
right?
Because you will leave one, good or bad. You will leave one. And if you're going to leave one, why not be intentional about how you want to leave it? Just like if you're intentional about you want to leave your kids lots of money, it's because you're intentional about it. And the same thing is with your values of being married. What values do you want to leave them with, and them to be a witness to whenever they're around? I think that's important. And as always, we have a hot take that Kim will read. It's the only thing that we script.
Today's hot take. Your marriage will either repeat what you watched growing up or intentionally rewrite it.
So, I mean, that's great. I mean, it's either going to repeat, good or bad, or repeat, or if you want to intentionally rewrite it. Again, we talked about being intentional, but you can also, if you're not careful, it can be intentionally rewritten in the wrong way.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So you have to be very careful of that also. So it's just, how do you want to be intentional to repeat it or rewrite it? Were you going to say something?
I was going to put you on the spot and say, so what would be your marriage legacy that you would want to leave?
That's a good question.
Thanks. We should have talked that out.
We probably should. The marriage legacy that I would want to leave our kids to see is that we enjoyed life together. We managed life together, and we were able to always continue to communicate and enjoy being together. And I think that's, I mean, the simplest. I mean, we could go in. There's a whole lot more, but to see that we're happy and doing things that make us happy together, I think would be the greatest thing. Because if you're doing things happy, how great of a marriage is that?
Right.
If you're doing it together,
right?
And that's the important thing. I don't want them to see, oh, well, mom's going to
Mom
hang out.
does this.
Yes, dad does that.
This.
And they probably, they see each other maybe once or twice during the week. I think that would be it. What about?
Well, I would say the same thing.
That's convenient.
I know. Sorry, you got my words. Darn the luck. But that, just like you said, I want them to see that in the everyday, that we want to be together, that we're the happiest when we're together. And I want to leave them with that you're my best friend, and that we have fought for that, and that it has been work. It wasn't always easy, but that is what we wanted. That's how we want it to look. I want them to know that you're my best friend, and that you're going to come before they are, because that's the way it's supposed to be. God, spouse, children. And so I want them to see that while they might not have always thought it was fair, I always did put you there, because I wanted them to see our relationship of being best friends. And whether it be, let's just drive to town, but we're going to go together. We might not sit side by side like maybe your grandparents did, or walk to town holding hands, but we always wanted to do it together. It was our favorite place to be.
And I think it's great legacy to leave our kids. And hopefully, if you were to ask our kids, I hope maybe they'd say that. I guess we should ask them and see what they say.
They may roll their eyes and be like, oh, Lord.
Those two. Maybe one day your kids will say, those two. And wouldn't that be the greatest compliment?
Yeah.
To say those two. If I think about my parents, I would say those two. And I think if you think about your parents, you go those two. Uh,
I would.
so, what a best way for somebody? What a best way for your kids or grandkids to describe your marriage legacy? Those two,
Yeah.
with that voice and tone. So, thank you so much for joining us on today's Marriage Hot Takes. We look forward to seeing you right here next time on Marriage Hot Takes. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Kim.
I'll see you next time.